Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot. And really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Now, those two unapologetically biased orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Sunday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe at Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the militia. Welcome back. Welcome us back. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. We don't have a ton of stuff going on, but we got enough to where we're here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. That's
Yeah.
bottom line. Did you watch the fight last night, Joe? Or did you hear about it? Did you watch clips? Anything?
I watched most of the prelims. Did not see the pay-per-view. Heard about the fights though. Yeah, saw it. So
Glad I didn't.
pretty gruesome.
Pay for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Those
those are
that's
the
not something
worst.
you want to pay for.
No, those are the worst fights when someone goes down like that. When
Oh yeah.
you're like everybody's kind of robbed.
Yeah.
Everybody
Bad,
involved.
or a bad like accidental cut or a bad poke in the eye where the doctor doesn't let somebody. Those ones are the ones where it's like And
Yeah.
that was the fight. That was the highlighted fight of the night.
I know.
It's supposed to be a 5-rounder if possible, and the end of the first round that happened. So,
Yep. Right at
it's
the
what
end.
it is. But
Yeah. What do you think? McGregor's done or what?
nah, I'm sure he'll try to make a comeback for sure.
I'm sure he will.
He's not going to want to go out like that.
I know.
I just don't know how long it's going to take. You don't know how bad it is yet.
Right. Yeah. Not to mention, I don't even know. When you peak as a fighter and then you continue to fight, it just gets embarrassing. I think Conor McGregor peaked.
Sometimes the hunger leaves too.
Yeah. I mean, look at Ronda Rousey. She couldn't be beat. No one ever thought she'd be beat. And then all she did was get beat.
Yeah, well, again, I think that has a little bit to do with her getting comfortable, but also the popularity of the sport and, females that possibly couldn't have been able to do that, got the opportunities to do that, and the sport grew so fast. And I think that's why she went down, I believe. But there's certain fighters like Conor, I feel like he came from nothing, and he had the hunger and the drive to do what he did. And then once he got the money, I felt like he got a little lazy a little bit. So, and I feel like some fighters do do that. So
Well, he's got the money, all right. That dude's got some money.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to be fine regardless at this point.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But I enjoyed watching him when he was good. So, anyways, we
I
digress.
guess the one question is that once you get that kind of money and you don't have that drive, why do you put yourself in there with people who are coming up trying to get your money,
I mean, I guess you either love the sport or there's money in losing. There's a lot of money in losing. Okay, if you could pay me like that to lose, I mean, no one wants to get their face bashed in, but for a cool couple mil, a cool few mil, I guess I'm down. Count me in. I don't know what to say. So, with that said, look, we got some just some basic news and then a few recruits that have gone by since we were last here, and we're going to get into all of that. But first, we want to talk about the Green Room app. The Green Room app is formerly what you want to call it? There it is. The Locker Room app. I'm distracted. Can you tell? Yeah. The Locker Room app. Okay, so the Locker Room app was bought out by Spotify. It's now the Green Room app. That is the app that you can download at the iOS and Android stores, and you can find us there. Sean space Cuse Militia is how you can find us over at the Green Room app. And you sign up. You just need a username and a email and a login password. And then, yes, you're going to need a password. And then you can follow us. We can follow you. You don't even have to always listen to us. But this is how we are going to do our fan feedback in the future. And you won't have to listen, but what you can do is even do stuff on your own if you want. If you want to do some live game stuff, or if you just want to chat it up, there's numerous topics there. There's all sorts of categories, and it's not just limited to sports, so you can do whatever you want. So go there, iOS and Android, download the Green Room app by Spotify. Follow us, Sean Space Cuse Militia. Go there. All right. So the name, image, and likeness stuff, Joe, for these guys has really kind of taken off in a way, because you've got Buddy Boeheim. In fact, I read, I think at Syracuse Sports Illustrated, that he was the first person to have their own apparel with their school's trademark on it in the NIL era. So that was one of the questions that was going to be, was that, can you have your school's logo? Can you use that trademark to support your brand as a student? And apparently you can. So how that's done, who knows? It's maybe a kickback or a percentage or whatever it may be. But you can get Buddy Buckets apparel over at, where is that? Players Trunk, okay? And actually, Joe Girard has some stuff over there. He's got some JG3 gear over at the same place. They're both on Cameo now, so they're able to make money doing that. They are also, well, Jimmy Boeheim's on Cameo as well. And you got Josh Black. He has a partnership with Wolfpack Clothing, and he put on Twitter, use the code Josh Black, get 30% off any order. So, I mean, that's big stuff. That's big stuff, and that's kind of that's the base product. This is the base stuff that they should have been allowed to do, in my opinion, for years. There's very little, I should say, issue I see with this type of stuff. This is exactly the stuff I think they should have been able to do long ago. So, anyway, good for them.
Yeah, exactly. And you even saw it now with Terrence Roberts coming out and saying, because of all this, Boeheim should come out and get his 101 wins back. It's just one of those things where, tough, man.
Well,
I hated that he lost those
well,
games.
I mean, it
took so long for this to happen, but at least it's happened, and
okay, well,
we can finally, not feel so taken advantage of, right? So.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and you can say, oh, well, Jim Boeheim is got these wins officially minus 101, but everybody knows the deal, dude.
No, yeah.
You can't take away. You can't just take away. Did they take any losses away? I mean, so.
I'm sure they didn't.
No, of course they didn't. But, I mean, the whole thing was dumb from the get-go. But we know the number. Whatever it is, whatever they're telling you it is, add 101 to it. That's the truth. So, that's an easy one to decipher. But, well, hey, go support the players, man. Go support the players. Go to Wolfpack Clothing. Support Josh Black and Players Trunk. You want to get some Buddy Buckets gear, some JG3 gear, then go there. Check that out. I think that's really cool. Boeheim's Army, I think they added their final piece. Joe DJ Kennedy, he's a 4-time TBT champion with Overseas Elite, and they are not a team this year. So that is our second Overseas Elite player, 6'5" guard. He was he won 4 years in a row, 15, 16, 17, and 18. He was named tournament MVP in 2015, 2018. So this dude's a baller. Right? And
remember from St. John's.
Right, St. John's player.
You're still in the Big East.
Yeah.
He's a good player. So, yeah. I just we would definitely be a 1 seed if obviously we were. I mean, we have 1 seed potential, and I think that honestly, after all these pickups and stuff like that, I mean, we're gonna have a target on our back for sure. It's gonna be tough, and it's gonna be interesting to see who gets the minutes, because it's gonna be interesting to me to see what the fans' thoughts are on it, because I know that. It started out as like a Syracuse alumni thing, and a lot of the fans, they go there because, or, you know, they watch it and they are interested in it because they're all previous like Syracuse players. And now that we've gone to the point where we picked up 4 players that hadn't played with us, if some, and you know, 2 of them from overseas elite, I have to believe that those guys are going to be getting a decent amount of minutes. I just don't know how the fans are going to feel when we have players from other teams playing that many minutes. I know how I felt the other year when what's his name was on it,
the shooter,
the shooter there from I forget his name.
I know who you're talking about.
He was an NBA player.
Yeah.
Came in and he just
chucked him up.
Yeah.
And we talked about that.
It's gonna be interesting.
But we talked about him, and I forget his name too right now. Steven. So I can't remember. Anyway, this is something that I think Syracuse fans. Well, I'll speak for myself. I never wanted to see other players other than Syracuse alum in this TBT tournament for Boeheim's Army. I mean, you call it Boeheim's Army. You know, DJ Kennedy, obviously, you know, I guess you join the team, you become a part of it. But at the end of the day, this was a Cuse alum team, and it stayed that way for a long time. But I think to win this thing, Joe, to really put together a group of seasoned guys that all graduated from Syracuse, and to if you really want to win this thing, you got to get outside the box a little bit. And I think they're throwing everything they can at it to chase this thing down and bring home the hardware. So, I mean,
well, I'm right there with you as far as that goes. I think we've talked about that as far as in the past. I think that we've talked about. I think it might have been last year when I think they lost early, and we were kind of like, you know, it's nice seeing just Syracuse players, but at the flip side, like, to win this tournament, we're going to have to get players other than Syracuse alumni players. I think we talked about that last year, and if we really wanted to win it, it was just one of those things. And
right.
I guess this year it looks like they're in it to win it.
Yeah, I mean, they're throwing everything at it. They had a head coaching change. Ryan Blackwell's still there, but they got a different head coach now. So they're trying some things. And obviously, it is, we'll see what happens. But, you know, if they go out and they win a championship after they made these changes, then you look like a genius. And I don't think it's going to be one of these years where they're going to struggle. The past couple years, man, they just struggled, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, they're not getting any younger. You got Tyler Lydon this year, Malachi Richardson, CJ Fair.
We got some
Chris
younger
McCall,
guys.
yeah.
Chukwu,
yeah.
You know, and it's just, we know that there's players out there that could come and play, but we don't know their situations overseas and professionally and in their lives, right? So we know that there's alumni out there that are younger than the Hakeem Warwicks and Demetrius Nichols and Eric Devendorfs of the world. But you really can only, you know, you don't know what's going on. So,
right. So, again, that first game is the weekend of July 24th. I believe that is at noon. Don't quote me on that, but it is July 24th where they will...
I do believe it's a Saturday at noon.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, okay. July 24th at noon. We'll go with that. If Joe says it, it must be right.
Yeah,
right. Right, guys? So, we got some recruits, okay? We had some recruits come through since we've been gone. And, Joe, I'm just going to intro these guys, and you can do with what you want. It says defensive heavy, and I want to know if that concerns you at all. This is going to be the class of 2022. Quan Peterson, cornerback, 6'1", 175. And the 247 Sports Composite rankings got him 1240 nationally, cornerback 111, and in his state of South Carolina, they got him 21st. So pretty good. And the 247 has him as the 117th quarterback and the 26th in the state of South Carolina. And Syracuse beat out Coastal Carolina, Georgia Tech, Appalachian State, and some others. Let me see. Is there more on here?
Is this for Quan?
Yeah, Marshall, Akron, Charlotte. So, yeah, not a lot of big schools in there. So.
No, he actually didn't have a lot of big schools. I don't think. I mean, there was some teams that were kind of looking at him, but from what I understand, he was getting interest from his home state of South Carolina, and I guess that's kind of what the last worry of possibly him decommitting and getting flipped is that he was getting looked at by, I believe, like, the Coast Carolinas, the App States, the next tier, like the higher up, lower level conferences. But again, like I said, his home state of South Carolina, they were, giving him some interest. So you never know if that offer will come at some point. But for right now, he's with us. And, he's tall, he's lengthy. He can play the ball really, really well. And honestly, like at this point, I don't even really like question the defensive backs that Nick Monroe gets for our defense. It's been obvious for at least a couple of years since we've lost the last couple of coaches that he's been one of our better recruiters in the way that the defensive backs, I believe, have been, brought up and how they get better every year, and you can just see it. It's just a high five to that guy. Like he's definitely.
I think
one
this
of our
was
better.
a Tony White recruit.
Right, but Nick Monroe is a defensive back coach.
I got you.
He kind of picks the guy, you know what I mean? So he might not have been the exact recruit, but as a position coach, they talk and kind of gets to pick the guys kind of that he wants to go after, that he thinks that he can kind of mold into what he wants on his defense. And like we've seen, they just put 3 of them in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Garrett Williams is the next guy coming up, and when we had a whole bunch of true freshmen play last year, with some good ones that are coming in as well this year. So it's, I'm not really questioning any of the defensive backs that we really bring in at this point. Not all of them are going to hit, but this guy kind of looks like that taller kind of Melifonwu guy that's got the reach, got the length, and he's very good at obviously knocking down balls and guarding receivers, stuff like that. So obviously he has to get bigger, 6'1", 175, but that just comes with time and obviously a strength and conditioning program at college. So
right. Does the lack of offensive recruits for this class bother you? I mean, I know there's obviously a long way to go, but you hear people talk about it. So I mean, I figured I'd bring it up. It is defensive heavy. You've got some. Our wide receiver situation isn't the greatest, I guess. I mean, I don't know what it's going to look like in 2022, but
right.
Taj Harris will probably be gone, right? And then you've got guys like Anthony Quealy and Cooper Lutz.
Sherrod Johnson will be gone.
Sherrod Johnson, yeah. So, I mean,
well, we're waiting for, obviously that younger tier of receivers to kind of come up. I think we got some good ones last year. Still, obviously, waiting to see if any of those guys can help. So yeah, and obviously we had a couple other guys that were redshirted and stuff like that are sitting on the bench as well. So there's obviously going to have to be guys that step up, no doubt about it. But our running back position is better, our offensive line, and I kind of look at it. I'm not worried about it because I kind of look at last year's recruiting class, and I feel like that was more of an offensive-heavy class. A lot of linemen that we brought in, stuff like that. So I think this is just kind of evening itself out. Plus, we still got a long way to go. I mean, we only have, how many recruits? 8 recruits?
8 or
something
9.
like that?
Yeah.
8 or 9? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we still got a bunch coming, and it could obviously, even itself out as we go along.
Right. Okay, well, we will get back to the other 2 recruits after I talk again, quickly, about the Green Room app. Okay? I just talked about it 2 seconds ago. You guys should be well aware. All right? So go there, go to iOS, go to Android, and download this thing, the Green Room app. Go there, sign up. Takes an email address, a username, and a password, and boom, Sean, space Cuse Militia. Go there, join us. You can either get in on that there, or you can do it yourself. Create your own room. Get in and start something for yourself. Now, this is how we're going to do fan feedback going forward. So you're going to want to get on it. I'm telling you.
Hopefully.
I'm telling you. Well, yeah, right. Hopefully, that's the truth. So, that's it. Go there. iOS, Android, Green Room by Spotify. Go there. Download it. Sign up. It's free. Guys, it's free. Okay. Sorry. All right. Makai Mason, linebacker, 6'1", 220, and 247 composite rankings have him ranked 1,040th in the country, 105th for linebackers, and 144th in the state of Florida. 247 has him the 82nd linebacker and the 103rd in Florida. So Syracuse beat out, again, Georgia Tech, Florida State, which is a good one. He had offers from Coastal Carolina, Indiana, and I think that's about it.
No, Mississippi, Pittsburgh, and West Virginia.
Okay. Well, those weren't on his. Those weren't on
Well,
his
top. He had his top 8. So
right.
His 7 finalists were Florida State, Georgia Tech, Pittsburgh, Indiana, Ole Miss, and West Virginia.
Okay.
So I mean, that's a good offer sheet.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And he had his originally scheduled visit. He was going actually to Washington State, and he decided to cancel that trip and decided to go to Syracuse instead, and obviously committed. So I think he probably had a kind of an idea of already where he wanted to be, I think. And well, here he is. So
yeah.
What'd you think, Joe? So you're gonna have to help me out too, because I didn't watch any tape for Makai Mason.
Yeah, Makai Mason. He's like a bullet getting shot. I mean, he reminds me a little bit of like Marlo Wax last year when you watched his tape, and you're just a guy coming through the line making the tackles like in the backfield, and then still not getting his eyes caught in the backfield and allowing certain plays like screen passes and little dump offs and pass plays beat him over the top either. So. 6'1", 220 is pretty big size, and with the offer sheets that he had and everything like that, and seeing his tape and how he plays, and seeing how our linebackers played last year, that he looks like he just fits right in. I don't think he's not going to be a guy. He's not going to be one of those outside linebackers that come out and come to the end. I don't think anyway, and rush the passer. But I feel like he's definitely a guy that can help in the run protection early if need be. But we are pretty solid right now at linebacker, but he's just another one added to a really, really good group.
Well, in 2022, when he becomes a freshman, what does it look like in 2022? Refresh my
Still
memory.
Everybody we have.
Is it? Okay. So
yeah,
it'll be a solid core.
We don't know what's going on with Lee. Well, we don't know what's going on with Lee Pogba right now.
Right.
He still, I don't think, is on the team. I heard some rumor, some story about how he was down at like Ole Miss and took pictures with like an Ole Miss jersey on. So I don't really know what's going on. I think that eventually that's going to get resolved, and we're going to figure out maybe not what happened, but obviously what he's doing, because he obviously was one of our better linebackers and one of the more higher recruits in the past couple of years. But we still have Jeff Canton-Arcu, Mikel Jones, Marlo Wax. We got Stephon Thompson last year who played really well, rushing on the outside. So, I mean, there's 4 guys right there on top of some others that were redshirting and that were injured as well. So we're pretty solid there as well. And I don't believe we even have a senior in that group. The only senior I think we would have had was if Tyrell Richards would have stayed, which is the one guy that we lost last year. So,
right.
If Lee Pogba was there, then I mean we'd have 5 easy solid. And I know that we have a couple other outside linebacker type guys. I think Steve Linton, is another one where he's an outside linebacker, but he's more like outside linebacker, defensive end. He's in there to rush the passer. So I think that we're pretty deep there, and we're young at the same time too. So. Yeah, 2020, who knows if 2022, who knows where we're going to be, because you never know what players are going to do. But if anything, he redshirts, sits behind a great group, and is going to be ready to compete in 23, which...
Right, that's just it. I mean...
That's the crux of it sometimes, Sometimes guys aren't going to come in and just kill it and have to... Sometimes you don't need them to come in and kill it because you have such a good group, and that's not a bad problem to have, so...
Yeah, well, they'll be in good shape next year, assuming most, if not all, come back. So,
right.
Is it Q year or Qua year? I don't know.
I would probably guess the second one that you said.
Qua year, okay. Qua year Price. Defensive lineman, 6'2", 255 pounds. He's out of New Jersey. High 3-star. 696 nationally ranked for 247 composite rankings. 102nd for his position and 14th in the state of New Jersey. This is probably the best get so far for this class. And by the way, this is the 8th recruit, so that is 8. You were right.
Yeah, that's our number.
So Syracuse beat out a couple decent schools again: West Virginia, Pittsburgh, Rutgers, Kansas, Indiana, Maryland, among some others.
BC.
So Boston College, Buffalo, and UConn. So a lot of interest in him, and Syracuse pulls him away from everybody, which is good. Kind of not in Syracuse's backyard, really, but I mean, it's over there, in that area. So that's good to see. Pulling someone from New Jersey. Yeah, what you got?
Yeah, this guy, he's pretty good. He's definitely, I believe, at least he might not be the best when you look at tape, because you have other tape that sometimes looks better, and some people play against better competition, less competition. So there are some good tape on some of our 8 recruits that we have, but he's definitely, as far as 247 Sports, he's definitely the highest rated guy that we have this year. And it's going to be interesting to see because 3-3-5, we really only have one traditional defensive end in there, and that's kind of what he's coming into play, defensive end right now. But it's not like he's at a crazy staggering height to where he couldn't possibly be like a defensive lineman down the road. All really depends on how he puts on his weight in his frame. But when I look at his highlight tape, I mean, he's bench pressing these guys. He's coming up. He knows how to use his hands. 6'2", 255. He's a big boy. He's strong. And the other thing I noticed too is that when he does beat his man and he gets to a point of attack to where he doesn't over pursuit to where the guy beats him. He's very under control, good feet, and most of the times it looks like he's making those plays. So when he does rush, he can rush, on pass plays, he can go, and when he obviously realizes that it is, but when he's good at realizing pass and run and what to do, and he's just very, very disciplined as far as that aspect goes. So whether he ends up putting on 25 pounds of muscle and turning into a defensive tackle, or playing defensive end, because he is fast enough, he's got the hands to do both, and it's really just up to how he puts on his weight and how our team wants to use him. But he definitely looks like a guy that can help us down the road for sure. D-tackle's just D-end, D-tackle. It's just another one of those tough positions where it's very hard to come in and just immediately impact when you're talking 3-star.
LeQuint Allen is I believe he's the only offensive recruit for this class, running back. So,
yeah.
Quire Price, he'll join the 7 others: Malachi Davis, the 3 we just mentioned, LeQuint Allen, Cornell Perry.
Yeah. Well, everybody had a big cow when we lost that other offensive player that we could have possibly had a week ago. That quarterback, Henry Bellin.
He was out of. He was in. Was it Rochester? Where the hell was he?
I think it was Rochester or something. He's in state for sure.
Yeah, he went to Duke.
And he went to Duke.
Yes.
And there was everybody. That's when all these websites came out about the getting back to the in-state recruiting and losing in our in-state recruiting and everything. And
I mean, it happens.
I know.
How many guys from Florida? We just got one from Florida that was offered by Florida State. I mean, it happens all over the board all the time.
Right, but the guy that you just said from Florida, right? He's ranked like 144th in Florida as a recruit, and he's a high 3-star going to Syracuse, or a mid 3-star going to Syracuse. He's the 144th player. The state of New York puts out 15 D1 players a year. Let's just put it into perspective.
Yeah.
And when we really want to talk about it, how many of these guys in state have we gotten that was a bust? I mean, a couple years ago, we were talking about we had to get Quiddy or White. 4-star, offensive lineman, offensive tackle. He's going to be our left tackle. He's going to block for the blind side of DeVito, right? Didn't play down, transferred.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a lot of guys in state that haven't really produced, or they end up going somewhere else. So, I grew up in Syracuse, and grew up playing football in New York. I live in North Carolina now. I can see a difference, and it's just one of those things where New York State just isn't a great state for football. So the
talent down even where I am for.
No, yeah, dude, you're Virginia
football.
Beach.
Dude.
Yeah.
You got some big names coming out of Virginia Beach recently too. So, it's a whole nother ball game here. I think it's a little different down south than it is up north. And
oh yeah,
a lot of those guys up north too. You got to think about guys like that gentleman, that young kid we lost for quarterback. I forget his name. Ended up going to Duke. Maybe
Henry Bowen.
Yeah, okay, right. The fourth or something. Maybe he wants to get the hell out of New York. Maybe it was just, humor in Syracuse as an option because it's a prestigious school and it's obviously well known and they have a decent football program. It's in state. Right. It can be close to his family. But at the end of the day, maybe he's like, I'll get the hell out of here.
There's 15 D1 guys, right? The top 5 are getting recruited by the Ohio States and the SECs and the Texases of the world. And we're not going to get them. And then the bottom 5, the 10 through 15, 11 through 15, they're going to mid-major schools. The MAC, Central Michigan, stuff like that. It's the 6 through 10, those guys right there. Those are the guys in New York State that go to the Boston colleges and the Pitts and the Rutgers, and we're all fighting for them. And, how many of them end up? We can go back in time and talk about, Mike Hart and, more recently Stevie Scott out of CBA, who ended up going to Indiana for running back, and now he just got drafted this past year. You can look at some guys that we didn't offer, but then for as many guys as we didn't offer, we've gotten guys and been excited about guys, big name top 10 guys from our state, and we haven't really gotten anything out of it. So I just don't really understand the hoopla all the time of we have to win our in-state recruiting, because at the end of the day,
I think it's just one of those.
The state of Florida has over 300 D1 recruits sometimes.
Yeah,
maybe
it's kind of something that I feel like just people who want to complain will always find something to complain about. I do understand the argument, but it's not like you're losing guys. You're losing guys in New York State. Let's take into consideration the actual state first too, while we're talking about it. Guys losing out of Florida and that's a whole different ball game, man. Like you said, right. At the end of the day, it's when I got out of. Look, I love Syracuse, man. It's home. But when I got out of there, That was it. You know what I'm saying? It's fun to visit sometimes, but
right.
Yeah.
Can you blame a kid from Buffalo or Rochester or Syracuse or something like that, or even down in New York City? Can you blame them for
anywhere over there,
going to Florida State or any of those teams, Georgia Tech, somewhere down in Texas? I don't think you can.
No. Let's remember, it's all winter. You play football. Okay, it's all winter. So thankfully, the SU has a dome. That's the one thing they got going for them. Although I think it would be quite entertaining to have an open facility for football in Syracuse.
They used to.
I know, but
they used to. I think they have longer seasons and stuff like that. So, but that's another thing. Is again, they have a dome, but they still have to live life outside in the snow. They still have to walk to the dome or drive to the dome.
Shovel your way to the dome. Whatever you got to do.
Just because you go to Syracuse doesn't mean that you live your whole life at Syracuse in the dome. It's not where your dorm is. It's not where your classes are. Come on. Yeah, you play football there. That's okay. It helps when it comes to that point.
Yeah, I agree.
Still got to deal with the crap. We all know that.
So, anyways, we've got. I guess honestly, man, it's the 11th of July. I expect some more recruits to roll in and stuff like that, and we'll hit those up. But really looking forward to some summer basketball. I feel really strong. I feel really good about Boeheim's Army's chances, and I think that they're gonna I think they could make a run this year. There's some other good teams out there, but you got these 2 overseas elite guys. I mean, this is the obviously, Joe, hands down, this is the best team Boeheim's Army has ever had.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But as we've seen this past weekend, when the USA Olympic team, the little exhibition game, lost to Nigeria.
Oh, I know. Oh, by the way, with 2 SU players, Benajay and Jeremy Grant.
Yep, Jeremy Grant. Yep, Team
on
USA.
On the other teams, yeah.
I mean, basketball, you have to gel. You have to be able to play with each other, and that's kind of what it is continuity, playing with each other and being able to play well together. And anybody who watches the NBA have seen it this year. The Phoenix Suns. That's probably why they're going to win the NBA championship. And again, you saw it the other day. You can have some of the best players in the NBA playing on a team, and if you don't play well with each other, then you can get beat. So really, they have the players, they have the talent. Definitely the best team we've had. It's just what can they do up until the tournament time to get to the point where everyone's happy with how many minutes people are playing and what your role is and how you play with each other. I mean, that's just really it.
Well, that's what's been missing Boeheim's Army past couple years is chemistry. You got, I wish I could remember that guy's name, Joe, but he was chucking up bad shots. I mean, this guy's supposed to be a sharpshooter, and he's a good shooter, but he didn't play well. They didn't play well as a team. They were very discombobulated and totally unorganized when they played the last couple of years. So, yeah, I mean, like you said, are you willing to accept less minutes for a title in the TBT? I think that's what it's going to come down to. You got to put your egos aside. If you want to win, you got to put your egos aside a little bit.
Yep.
So unless you're Michael Jordan.
But it's going to have to be.
Right.
I mean, we've talked about it. I mean, that's really what it is. If you want to just play with your Syracuse buddies and see what happens and, not win because you just need a little bit more talent, then that's just what it is. I mean, unless you can get all your top guys that are sitting out there playing in all these leagues, then you're just not, and that's just the fact of the matter. So
yeah, and they
you got to put them aside. If you want to win, you got to put them aside, man. Everyone wants that money.
Yeah, and Devendorf, he's been at this a long time. We don't know how much longer he's going to do it, but obviously he's been very involved with getting some of these other players on the team, going outside the box and getting some of these other players and stuff. So Devendorf doing his part on some of that recruiting end for them too. So we'll see what happens. But as soon as we can get back, everybody, we'll be back. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Obviously.
Sure.
Obviously, I am very excited to podcast once every 2 weeks, but I really should do it more.
We'll get another one before the TBT, right?
I would hope so, but I'm discombobulated. For Joe.
Sorry, man.
I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.